The 9th of Av, Tisha B'Av, commemorates a list of catastrophes so severe it's clearly a day set aside by God for suffering. Learn 7 historical events that took place on Tisha B'Av. The first one, the spies returned with bad report. Picture this, the year is 1313 BCE. The Israelites are in the desert, recently having experienced a miraculous exodus, and are now poised to enter the promised land. But first, they dispatch a reconnaissance mission to assist in formulating the prudent battle strategy. The spies return on the 8th day of Av and report that the land is unacquirable. The 9th day of Av, the people cry. They insist that they rather go back to Egypt than be slaughtered by Canaanites. God is highly displeased by this public demonstration of his distrust to his power, and consequently, the generation of Israelites never enters the Holy Land. Only their children have the privilege, after wandering in the desert for another 38 years. 2. Both holy temples were destroyed. The first temple was destroyed on the 9th of Av, 423 BCE. 5 centuries later, in the 69th CE, as the Romans grew closer to the second temple, ready to torch it, the Jews were shocked to realize the second temple was destroyed the same day as the first. 3. The Battle of Betar was lost. When the Jews rebelled against Roman rule, they believed that their leader, Shimon bar Kokhba, would fulfill their messianic longings, but their hopes were cruelly dashed in 133 CE, as the Jews' rebels were brutally butchered in the final battle at Betar. The date of the massacre was, of course, the 9th of Av. 4. The Romans plowed the Beit HaMikdash. 1 year after their conquest of Betar, the Romans plowed over the Temple Mount, our nation's holiest site. 5. The Jews were expelled from England. The Jews were expelled from England in 129 CE. You guessed it, Tisha B'Av. 6. The Jews were banished from Spain. In 1492, the golden age of Spain came to the close when Queen Isabella and her husband Ferdinand ordered that the Jews be banished from the land. The edict of the expulsion was signed in March 31, 1492, and the Jews were given exactly 4 months to put their affairs in order and leave the country. The Hebrew date on which no Jew was allowed any longer to remain in the land where he enjoyed welcome and prosperity? Oh, by now you know, it's 9th of Av. 7. Both world wars began. Ready for the one more? World War II and the Holocaust, historians conclude, was actually the long drawn-out conclusion of the World War I that began in 1419. And yes, amazingly enough, Germans declared war on Russia, effectively catapulting the First World War into motion on the 9th of Av, Tisha B'Av. What do you make of all this? Jews see this as another confirmation of the deeply held conviction that history isn't haphazard. Events, even terrible ones, are a part of the divine plan and have a spiritual meaning. The message of the time is that everything has a rational purpose, even though we don't understand it.